rank the possibly tiresome storylines. McDavid contract, Hughes brothers playing together, Kirill Kaprizov contract, and Sidney Crosby getting traded.
In like what's the order? Like
fucking rank them.
Like
the NHL media tour is going on, so players are talking. They're meeting with people and they're talking about their various storylines, and there are some big ones going on right now. Sidney Crosby addressing the trade rumors, whatever it may be. I think in the case of a lot of these things, they're not really rumors anymore. They're just things that we know are going to happen, and the eventualities are being spoken on a little more. Here's Sidney Crosby, quote, "I'm worried about playing for Pittsburgh. I haven't seriously considered anything else. I go into the season trying to do my very best to be ready to make sure that we give ourselves every chance." Hilarious. I don't think about that. It's not something that, ... I know if all my energy isn't towards what it needs to be, I'm not giving myself the best chance for it to be successful. And if I ever come to that point, I would discuss it, but I don't feel like I'm there. That reminds me a lot of how Brad Marchand talked about the Bruins last year when we asked him about trade rumors, which is, yeah, I'm focused on this, and yeah, stuff like that I guess could happen, but I don't see the point in thinking about it because I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's the stock answer. I don't know what else you can expect at this point, and I think that like all of us, right, like we all agree that this is probably on the table.
It
like
has
a
to be.
Crosby trade has to be on the table.
I would lose respect for Sidney Crosby if he weren't open to it.
I don't know. I don't know like how much it's like seriously been considered on his part, but I'm sure it's crossed his mind. And I think that if you are completely taking it off the table, you are foolish. And I know that Pittsburgh Penguins fans don't want to think about it, probably don't want it to happen. I felt the same way about Marchand, but the reality of the situation is that like the Penguins probably aren't going to be very good. They're probably going to be very bad. And Crosby's only got, at most probably like a handful of years left. And like that guy is wired differently. He wants to win all the time. And at some point, the reality is going to set in that the window is not there for the Penguins. And he's going to want to win. And as we mentioned on the show before, his contract is not prohibitive for another team to acquire him.
2 years at $8.7 million per, and that is so it can be moved with only single retention unless someone wants to move him in the first week of the season, so it can be really fun later on.
I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if he actually wants it to happen, but I do know that if you're completely ruling it out or taking it off the table, I think that's a foolish game.
Okay, my guess is he waits to see if they get Gavin McKenna. And if they get Gavin McKenna, then I think stick around. Be what the Mario Lemieux and Sergei Gonchars and Zygmunt Palfys were for you when you came in, and it's like, oh, they got all these old-ass stars. That'd be really cool. And I think that the Penguins could possibly, if they get Gavin McKenna, could be good enough to contend before Sidney Crosby retires.
My only thing about that, aren't you saying that Sid would be kind of an asshole for not considering a trade? And if you're waiting for Gavin McKenna, you're by nature.
I'm saying wait 1 year. Well, so I don't think it happens this year. And this offseason, if they don't win the first or second overall pick, I think you do it then.
Number one, I don't think Sid is an asshole for not considering a trade.
I agree.
I think that like human nature dictates that like he is going to think about other options if the Penguins are so bad that he's not having a good time and he doesn't think that he's going to win again with them. If he decides that he wants to stay with Pittsburgh and like he decides the loyalty wins out, that doesn't make him an asshole. It's just the way that he chooses to go. Number two, like I think it's more likely that he gets traded in the offseason than during the season, which would align with that whole scenario. Like if it goes through this year and the Penguins suck and they lose out on McKenna, like their things don't go their way in the lottery, they end up like in the 8th pick or something, then it becomes, I think, more realistic because the path is not there for the Penguins.
Yeah.
Like I think that that's the most likely outcome.
Yeah. Then we have the Hughes brothers being the latest to weigh in on what seems like the eventuality of Quinn Hughes ending up in New Jersey. Jack Hughes saying, honestly, I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, I'd love for Quinn to eventually, I'd love to play with him. And whether that's in New Jersey or at what time that takes, at some point I want to play with Quinn. But yeah, it's the question going around. They talk about it all day up in Vancouver, you know? But yeah, I'd love to play with Quinn at some point. This would seem as though they were saying the quiet part out loud if Rutherford had not already said the quiet part out loud late in the season, where the president of the Vancouver Canucks said, Quinn Hughes wants to play with his brothers. And I'll give a little reminder on the Hughes brothers contract situation. Jack Hughes, who is 24 years old, is entering year 4 of 8 with the Devils, so he's not going anywhere. Luke Hughes is 22. He's an RFA. He's not going anywhere. Quinn Hughes, captain of the Canucks, is 25 years old, entering year 5 of 6. He'll be a UFA after next season. That seems like the most likely one to move, which is why everyone talks about Quinn Hughes ending up in New Jersey. I can't remember something in hockey where the cards were so on the table, and if this happens, we're like, why did we ever question it for a second? Like, I'm no longer questioning it.
No, I mean, like, I never questioned it because, like you mentioned, Jim Rutherford got in front of a microphone and was like, this is a real concern. This is a real concern. And like that part makes it a reality. I still, like, I'm not sold on it happening because, like, they're building something in Vancouver. I think last year did not go to plan. I don't think that Quinn is particularly, like, unhappy in Vancouver based off of what I'm seeing. They kept the boys around that he likes. Like, Besser's still there. Demko's still there. It seems like that group gets along. So, like, I don't think he's rushing out the door. But the fact that they're explicitly stating that they'd like to play together and that Jim Rutherford has said, like, this is on our radar, makes it impossible to throw that off the table as well.
Do you think the captaincy matters at all to him?
Not in a way
That would prohibit him from going to New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think they give him a letter instantly?
In New Jersey?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a tweet during this show from our dear friend Frank Saravalli.
I know. I was going to bring that up after.
Sources say Minnesota Wild superstar Kirill Kaprizov's camp turned down an extension offer believed to be 8 years, $128 million in a meeting on Tuesday. They told him that at a dinner that would have made him the highest paid player in NHL history in both AAV, $16 million, and total dollars. So the highest paid player in the NHL is Leon Draisaitl at $14 million per. He signed that before he knew what the cap situation was going to be. Kaprizov entering the final year of his deal. He's part of, let's call it, the big three of players who don't usually reach free agency in Connor McDavid, Kirill Kaprizov, and Jack Eichel. $16 million per. He turns down. I say to that, come on, man, you got to take that.
I mean, we're clearly in a game of chicken here now, right? Between him and McDavid.
Yeah.
I think that he's
where my
waiting
mind
to
goes.
see what McDavid signs for.
But I think McDavid's waiting to
for
see
him,
what
yeah.
Kirill Kaprizov signs for. I don't know. Like, if you're Kirill Kaprizov,
You don't have the leverage
you
in that
don't
situation.
you don't wait for Connor
Yeah.
McDavid because, like, that sets your ceiling,
Yeah.
right? Like,
And I don't think McDavid goes higher than 16 and a half.
But there's no way that...
but that's a McDavid choice.
There's no way
right?
that the Wild can
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
rationalize.
I'm saying, like, so he should lock in 16.
That's what I'm- yeah, right.
Because if McDavid is worth $16.5 million, honestly, Kaprizov, who is awesome, is worth 13.75.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you allow Connor McDavid to set the ceiling of what, like, the best player in the league should be paid, then,
You're
like,
gonna play
relative
yourself.
to that, you're
Yeah.
going to take some money out of your pocket, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Take that deal. Yeah.
Take this right now.
Yeah. And, like,
And also, he doesn't stay healthy. Like, why would you not take that security?
does that make you nervous if you're a Wild fan? Like, not just that, like, he's turned down this deal. Does it make you wonder, like, does he want to be somewhere else?
Or, I mean, I wonder if he wants $16 million times 4 or times 5 or something. Maybe that's it. I think that maybe he has an issue with the term. I would not have an issue with that AAV if I were him.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have that an issue with the
Famously,
AAV
I'd
if
like
I
to
was
be
anybody.
paid $16 million.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
But I mean, like, look at Why can't I? Mikko Rantanen signed for less than Draisaitl after, and I know that he did it in a no income tax state, but he signed after Draisaitl and after we knew what the cap projections were, and he still went under 14. What did Rantanen sign for? What's Rantanen's AAV?
Is it 12? I think it's 12. I'm honestly
Yeah, it's
surprised.
12.
I'm surprised that
I think Marner's 12.
Marner's 12 and a half. I'm surprised that
So, like, careful,
Marner's
man.
12 even.
12 even.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm surprised that based off of those that Kaprizov's being offered 16. And I know that he's an awesome player, but like that's a heavy cap hit, especially for 8 years.
But I mean, I definitely get offering him 16, and if I were the Wild. You're just that team that I know it's not the NBA, but like I was gonna say, players aren't lining up to
That's
go
what-
sign
yeah.
in Minnesota, but famously
You would
they
think they
had
would.
like the loudest free agency splash maybe in NHL history,
And it's not like
And they're just getting out of it.
and it was horrible.
They're just
it was
getting
so
out of it.
bad.
and it's like it's a hockey state. It's a place where you would think you would at least have a long list of players who would consider going home to Minnesota or getting close to home if they're from
I guess the problem
Central
is
Canada.
the problem is with like the McDavid comparison where we were just talking about the ceiling gets set. Like once you make that deal, Minnesota can't go backwards, right? Like they can't go a lower AAV than 16.
No, I mean, if he wants to be lower on term, then say, all right, you want a 3-year deal instead, 15 and a half times 3 or 4 or whatever, and see if that gets it done. But let's move on to the fourth pillar of what will be a fun little game that I'm going to play with Pete here, the Connor McDavid latest, which there really isn't latest other than some shitposty website made a little shitposty onion type article thing. And the headline was, visibly trembling Oilers fan insists he's not worried about McDavid contract situation. So now people are having fun with how McDavid is so clearly gone, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, folks, if you are watching, that person does look like a mix between me and Carey Price.
It does. I think if you ask like an AI image generator, like give me the composite of DJ and Carey Price, it's just that picture.
San Jose Shark, Carey Price.
Yes, famously.
True.
Shout out, and apologies to Mike Greer. He likes old guys. Traded for Carey Price.
I mean, I like the idea that Ryan Clough got so offended by the trade for Carey Price that he quit his post and then signed with the Rangers.
Shout out whoever put together that article for using a picture of like 2017 Connor McDavid.
Not
for
even the
some
right
reason.
uniforms.
Yeah, see those old uniforms?
Those things
Okay.
stunk.
The game I want to play with you.
Yeah.
Rank the possibly tiresome storylines. McDavid contract, Hughes brothers playing together, Kirill Kaprizov contract, and Sidney Crosby getting traded.
In like what's the order? Like
Fucking rank them.
like rank them from which I'm most tired of. already?
Most annoying is number one.
Most annoying is number one. I'll put McDavid there because I feel like he's going to sign in Edmonton, but I don't think it's like it's a foregone conclusion. Like I'm not upset if you want to talk about like the possibility of McDavid going elsewhere. Like I said, if he's not signed by day one of the regular season, game one, let's panic about it. But right now, I feel like the general feeling is that he's going to re-sign in Edmonton. Number two, I'll say the Hughes brothers.
Agree.
Because it's just not going to happen anytime soon. And like they're being asked about it and they're like answering honestly, but in a way that like they're like, what do you expect me to say? It's my brother. Of course we'd like to play together. That I understand having that conversation too. Like again, Jim Rutherford came out and said, this is a real concern. We gotta do something here to keep Quinn Hughes. But it's probably not gonna happen for another year and a half. So we don't have to go crazy on it. Number three, I'll put Crosby there just because like we're on year 3 of discussing this, and like at any turn, it's like, ooh, Sidney Crosby might go somewhere else, and that's a real possibility. But like again, at any given opportunity, people are like Crosby gone. So there's just been a lot of talk about that, and I'll put 4 Kaprizov just because that's brand new. I feel like the Kaprizov thing is brand spanking new.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that I would have ranked him. I just would have ranked him in terms of maybe what's spiciest, what's most interesting. But given that we are talking about how they're tiring, I think that ranking them in terms of tiring, I agree with you putting the Hughes brothers playing together thing up high. That to me has a little Bo Byram to it, where it's just like, let me know when it happens, okay? The Crosby one, the only thing I find annoying about Crosby trade talk is people saying he's never getting traded. Other than that, I'm not annoyed by anyone who wants to say where would he be a good fit. I think McDavid possibly relocating talk is very interesting. I also don't think it's going to happen.
It's a thought exercise.
But right, it's just a thought exercise. And we kicked it around a little bit last week, which is like, what do you trade for Connor McDavid? Or what would the Oilers take for Connor McDavid? And if Connor McDavid was to relocate via trade, how does going to another team not completely deplete them? And like, what would the Oilers look like without Connor McDavid? It's all very interesting. So I think that's a very nice little order you put together.
We all silly like the mayor.